Hello, I'm Sharon Roth, AOK Program Supervisor. Thank you so much for coming to your training orientation day, and welcome to the AOK family. For about the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to go through some parts of the staff manual as well as some of the other forms in your packet that you've received. Again, I want to say welcome. I do want to mention that you are part of the AOK family here in Santa Barbara with 8 schools, 800 students. But throughout the state of California, we have 4,500 schools with the program, with thousands and thousands of students throughout the state. The program is funded by the Department of Education, and it's called ACES, After School Education and Safety. So even though AOK is one small part of the grant, you are part of a large state grant. I did want to clarify that. If you wouldn't mind please taking out your staff manual, the green manual on the left. We're going to go over sections of the manual right now. Please turn to page 2. The main duties of the leaders is to supervise the students, deliver a curriculum, a scholar hour, supervise them during snack and supper, and then again at checkout. So you'll have a meeting in the beginning and the end with your team and your site coordinator, and you'll receive quite a bit of training in addition to curriculum training. Your site coordinator has a lot of duties, even though you don't see them have a group. They're behind the scenes working with parents, students, teachers, school staff, principals, partners, volunteers, and they're also doing a lot of paperwork. Our attendance roster is how we get paid. Our assistant site coordinator works at 2 schools, and they assist the coordinator with early checkouts. There's so many things that they assist the site coordinator with, whether it be behavior, injuries, talking with parents, a lot of behind the scenes work. Your academic liaison is a teacher that's assigned to the school that helps bridge the school day with AOK. The academic liaison meets with the team and with the coordinator, and they try to assist with any kind of scholar hour issues or trying to increase attendance or any communication between the teachers and the staff. I cover 4 sites as a program supervisor, and I oversee Adams Elementary, McKinley Elementary, Monroe Elementary, and Santa Barbara Community Academy. My coworker, Emmett Jenkins, who's the assistant program supervisor, he oversees the following sites: Adelante Charter School, Franklin School, Cleveland School, and Harding University Partnership School. We do all of the hiring, the training, working with all the program partners, as well as coaching and mentoring staff, in particular the site coordinators. There's just a lot of behind the scenes work, whether it's setting up field trips or working with the parents, working with the teachers, principals. There's just a lot of behind the scenes work, and we're available for anything you need in addition to your site coordinator. So then you have your coordinator, who's Kathy Serrano, and she oversees the AOK program as well as another after-school program with TK through 2nd grade, and she's available as well to be there for you. She oversees the budget and all the paperwork and a lot of big behind-the-scenes things. Let's go ahead and turn to page 4. There's a few policies that you need to make sure that you adhere to. One is obviously being on time. It's super important for your team that you're on time. If you're late, then the coordinator has to catch you up on everything. So make sure you park, take in consideration parking, and then get to the site and make sure you sign in at the time your shift starts. If you have to be out, we don't want you to bring your illness in. If you're sick, we understand. If you need to call out sick, please contact either Sharon Roth or Emmett Jenkins, depending on which site you work at, no later than 10 a.m. to report your absence. It's better to call out sick by 10 a.m. than to call later on in the day so that we can arrange for a substitute. You can find Sharon and Emmett's cell phone on the cover of the staff manual. Also, if you need to take a day off, you can request your time off in writing by coming to the AOK program office. It needs to be at least 2 weeks in advance. And then Kathy Serrano will be the final person who will approve your time off. We also ask that you don't take off more than 2 days in a row during the time that the students are the students are in session. For instance, say it's April or May, we ask that you don't request for like a week off. We have plenty of breaks that you'll see in your school calendar, which is located on the bottom of your packet on the left. We do have a lot of breaks throughout the year, so please be at work as much as possible. If you're sick, please let us know you're sick, but other than that, please try to be here as much as possible. Any leader has excessive absences, we may need to speak with you about being a sub instead. Okay, as far as dress code, it's important that you wear your AOK shirts. We'll provide you with 2 AOK shirts. In the winter, we do provide a sweatshirt. Please wear those during work hours, not outside of work hours. And in terms of the bottoms for shorts, please make sure they're at knee length, not the short shorts, the short skirts. Make sure that you're not wearing the super ripped up jeans. Let's wear bottoms that are appropriate for a school setting. And then we want to avoid the flip-flops as well as the high heels, comfortable shoes that you can move safely in. So yeah, as far as baseball caps, we have those available if you like wearing baseball caps, but it's not a requirement. We're going to go ahead and move on to page 5 and 6. At the bottom, starting with gum chewing, and there's some additional policies. We ask that you not chew gum. The students don't chew gum, so we want to be positive role models for them. And then there's a few things on page 6 to review. Please leave your cell phones in the car, or please refrain from being on your cell phone during work hours. We don't have time for texting and Instagram and all of that. In terms of personal items, we don't have any locked facilities like lockers, so I would leave personal items in your car at home. In terms of large amounts of money or anything expensive, we just want to make sure that nothing is taken. There will be somewhere for you to put your keys and things, but it is not locked, so keep that in mind. Please don't bring your friends to the site. They aren't fingerprinted or cleared, so please don't bring them with you, as well as your pets. Leave those at home. We did have an incident where someone brought their pet and it bit a child, so please don't bring your pets to school. In terms of your staff t-shirts, once you're finished with the job, we ask you return them, but hopefully that's no time soon because we hope that you stay with us for a long time. At the bottom of page 6, it just talks about public relations. There's a lot of people watching everybody, whether it's teachers, parents, principals, just other parents that aren't involved in the program. Make sure you're professional at all times. If anybody approaches you with something they're upset about or they have a complaint, please refer them to your site coordinator. We do not expect you to answer questions from people that are bringing grievances to you. Automatically get on the walkie-talkie and call your site coordinator, which brings me to our walkie-talkie. It is about a $300 instrument. We do ask you to take very special care of it. Make sure that you have it turned on to channel 1 at all times, as well as turned up. The button on the right turns it up all the way. To talk, you just press the button on the left-hand side, hold it for a minute or a couple of seconds before you talk, and it's pretty self-explanatory. At the end of the day, make sure that you turn it back into your site coordinator. Don't walk off with it, and please don't place it somewhere far away from you because we don't want it to go missing. Make sure students are not using the walkie-talkies. Those are the main principles in terms of the walkie-talkie. In terms of your timesheet, your site coordinator at your individual sites will record your time on a daily basis. They will submit the timesheet to Gloria Medina, our office manager, at the end of the month. Please look over your time with your site coordinator to make sure that it is recorded correctly. Make sure to include any training hours you've done. Make sure you include if you came late or left early, that your time has been adjusted, and just make sure that the time is entered correctly on the sheet before it is emailed over to Gloria Medina. Okay, we're going to move on to page 8 of your manual. There's just a couple of more policies that we want to cover, especially physical contact with students. It's important that you don't have children hanging on you, grabbing you. You want to make sure you're doing appropriate physical contact. In terms, the best way to go about it would be a high five, a fist bump, a little side hug. But if, you're obviously not going to be swinging students, having them on your shoulders. It's not a day camp. It's not your niece and nephew. It is a school setting. So just be cognizant about how you're having physical contact with the students. If there's any issues, please bring it to the site coordinator regarding that. As far as if a child runs away, you obviously don't want to run after them. You want to make sure you call the coordinator on your walkie, or if they are gone too long to the restroom or somewhere, make sure you alert the site coordinator, but never leave the group unattended. You want to obviously closely supervise the children at all times. If you need to use the restroom, call your coordinator. Just ask them to come to your room so they can cover. If you need supplies, don't leave your group to go get supplies. It's just important you remember you're fully in charge of the group at all times and you do not want to leave them unattended. In terms of holding things for students, don't hold things for students because it is their responsibility in terms of any of their belongings. And so you just, if they don't know where to put something, refer them to the site coordinator. Something large, they have to leave in the office, but we aren't responsible for anything that the child wants to give us. Okay, so that's for page 8. Now, we're just going to turn to page 16 and 17 and go over accident procedures, and then we're going to move on from the manual. I do want to point out, please read the entire manual. Again, it's very important. Pay special attention to accident procedures. If your child has an injury, in particular gets hit in the head, or falls down hard, during a sport or whatever they're doing, the main thing is to inform the site coordinator. We want to make sure the parents always know about any injury. Even if the child says they're fine, make sure that you let the coordinator know what happened. They could say they're fine, but come back and it turns out they have a concussion. It turns out they come back the next day with a cast on their arm. A lot of times children are resilient and they want to keep playing. But obviously, if there's a little paper cut or a scratch, they can go wash with soap and water. We don't give them any medications or creams. We just say, wash your knee with soap and water, put a Band-Aid. We have plenty of Band-Aids and first aid supplies. If there's a bee sting, a nosebleed, call your coordinator immediately on the walkie-talkie. The main thing is to just let them know about any injury that happens so we can inform the parent. And the coordinator will be filling out an accident report. Okay, I do want to move on now to the right side of your packet. And so we're going to be covering the first page called A-OK Site Visits. This I want you to read front and back. It gives you a little overview of what the coordinator is looking for in terms of your performance. And it's broken down by prep time, curriculum, transitions, and scholar hour. And so what is it that you're supposed to be doing during those periods of time? So I want you to read that over thoroughly. If you have any questions, please let me know, or your coordinator. But these are the things that we're looking for in terms of you being prepared and delivering these activities. A lot of it has to do with time management. So you're going to have to work on getting the students ready and transition from activity to activity, from place to place, on time and in order. So it takes a little bit of work to do that, but just observe also your peers, your coworkers doing it, and the time that you're shadowing. And before you know it, it's second nature. So we're going to move on to the next form that is called Behavior Interventions Before Parent Meetings. And this is very important. There's many things that we can do to assist our students before it comes down to where the parents have to come in for a big meeting because whatever we're doing isn't working. The best thing you can do is give positive feedback to students. What you want them to do is the direction you're going to give them. So it's not just saying, don't do this, don't do that. If you want them to walk in an orderly line, you need to let them know specifically what you want them to do. And after they do it, you need to praise them for it. You need to give positive feedback. For instance, oh, wow, look at the first 5 students in line. Great job. Thank you, Jorge, for taking out your homework. Look at table 1. They got to work right away. Thank you, table 1. I mean, you need to let the students know that you appreciate what they're doing in terms of what you're asking them to do. The more you do that, the better result that you will have. You always want to review the rules and expectations before you enter the classroom. This is very important. Students need reminders, and they need to know exactly what needs to happen first, second, third. What are they supposed to do? And they do forget. So talk to them about it outside the classroom and have them repeat it to you so everybody's on the same page. Be consistent and have routines. Children really like routines, and that makes them feel stable and comfortable. So try to do things in the same order or the same way. Also show interest. If you're just giving orders to students but they don't really think that you care about them or that you're showing interest in them, they're not going to give you the respect. Get to know them, what they like, show that you care, give them a high five, a friendly greeting, and get to know them, and then you'll have a lot better result. Also, the students who have the most challenges, they need a lot of attention. So you're going to need to give them jobs, and you're going to need to give them a little more TLC. Best thing to do is assign them jobs like, hey, Jorge, would you like to roll my cart? Be in the front of the line and roll the cart for me. Would you like to pass out pencils? Would you like to, help me organize my cart with my supplies? Whatever you can do to help those students stay on track, and also just be helpers and give them importance because they are lacking attention and love. Please do that. That's really important. You want to have any students that multiple times you've asked them to do something, they may need to sit out and have a little break. They might need to do a reflection sheet or an apology letter, or just take time out. So you might want to just have them not outside. We don't want to put the students outside, but you can have them in the room separated, reflecting, maybe doing some breathing. We also, any student you're having difficulties with, make sure you tell the site coordinator, because we need to have a special heart-to-heart talk with them to get deeper into what is happening with them. And also we want to be able to inform parents and teachers if they need extra help, resources, or just care. So always talk to the coordinator and your team about these particular students. It's usually like the same 5 or 6 students that are going to come up repeatedly because they are the ones having challenges. So you also want to talk with the teacher and see what the teacher is doing in terms of helping them. The coordinators and myself and all of us, we're happy to have heart-to-heart talks with the kids too, if we need to find out, to give them more support, or just find out get down to the bottom of what's really going on. Don't ever take it personally. They're not acting out because they're trying to upset you or they don't like you. They are having challenges, whether it be in the home, whether it be the parents are divorcing, or there could be issues with, there's just been so many things, whether it be substance abuse, domestic violence, deportation. We've had a lot of various different reports of situations that the parents share with us, as well as the students, as to why they're struggling. So we just need to make sure those students get the resources. Please talk to us if we can assist you at all with behavior management. It's a work in process, and it takes some practice. I would like you to look over the blue sheet called Group Management Tips for AOK Program Leaders. It's a little bit more intricate and lengthy, more involved, and gives you a few more tips about behavior management. There's a pink sheet called AOK Program Leader Supplies. You can read that over. Your site coordinator and assistant and the leaders, they'll let you know where to find all the supplies that you need for Scholar Hour and curriculum, where they're located, what you're going to need, where to find more. And so this just gives you a list of the general things you have in your rolling cart. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Scholar Hour. This is the academic hour where you're going to have the same group, unless you're subbing. If you're subbing, you may have different groups. But if you're just a daily leader at one site, you'll have the same group. The students are asked to do homework by their teachers, and we do need to make sure that they get started and are on task. We can't assure that every student finishes their homework because you're only one of you, or maybe a couple of you and 20 students, but they do need to get started, be on task. Make sure that you're not giving them the answers to homework, but asking them questions to provoke them to be able to understand the assignment. After they do their homework, then you're going to have them either before or after do 30 minutes of reading. If they're the little ones, the first and second, you could read a book to them. The older students tend to have their own books, but you definitely have to have a reading time. After they're done with homework and reading, then we ask you to have things prepared that we call stations. You can have maybe 3 other stations. For instance, you could have a math facts station, so where you have math flashcards, different math manipulatives for them to be able to do their addition, subtraction, or their multiplication, division. Whether it be worksheets or flashcards, that we have blank cards where they can make their own flashcards, but we need to have them working on their math facts. We want them to do some journal writing, creative writing. You can give them topics, so we have lists and lists of open-ended questions where they can just, answer 3 or 4 questions and maybe draw a picture about it. We have Lakeshore Learning Games, which are by grade level. We ask that the leader look over the Lakeshore games and pick a couple. If there's volunteers too, they could play the games with them. And then a connection circle is where you have the group of students in a circle. You give them a topic and they have a talking stick. It could be a pencil or whatever. And then they go around and answer the questions. This builds trust. It builds, kids need to voice their opinions. And we want to hear their answers. We want to hear what they have to say. So this is also a way for them to have student voice and answer questions that are fun and creative. And then we have sight words or other kind of flashcards or any other work that the teachers want the students to work on, as well as some work on computer programs such as Lexia, Dreambox, or programs that the teachers would like them to further develop in the afternoon. So there's plenty for them to do. They shouldn't be just wandering around, talking to their friends, doodling, coloring. We have plenty of academics, and we do expect that you do provide these activities for them. There's next page is called Scholar Hour System for program leaders, and this will give you guidelines during the Scholar Hour. Please read that over thoroughly. It's important that you know what the general guidelines are, what works, what doesn't work, and how to navigate the Scholar Hour. I really encourage you, the most important thing is for you to ask questions. As a new leader, you're going to want to ask your coworkers, your site coordinators, supervisors. No question, every question is important. So make sure you're asking questions constantly. There's a lot to learn. Working with a group of 15 to 20 elementary school children is not easy, so we just encourage you to ask questions. We're here to support you and help you every step of the way. This pretty much completes the training for now. I'm absolutely available after the training. I'm going to get you your t-shirts before you leave and answer any questions you have, but I would like you for sure to read through the whole manual. And then there's the form that I had you in the beginning sign, acknowledging that you received the manual and understand what the contents are, as well as making sure you completed your emergency card. So again, welcome to AOK. I hope your first week goes great for you, and feel free to reach out to us for any support. Have a wonderful day.